Oh, that's good to know. Thank you, and great confirmation. Meg also wants to know if she's still physically, with Thea, her and Darren, still physically moving off old Earth to new Earth in December this year.
Yes, they are indeed. Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
And what is the possibility of this date being pushed out or changed?
It will be around this time. The 21st of December. The 21st of December for these two is a very strong date. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so thank you very much for that confirmation. And so will the majority of the population shift along with them around this date also?
Yes, this is a time of great movement. We are very much looking forward to this time for the humanity. Around this time, there will be many people leaving Earth for the new Earth and for other places that they have chosen to go, depending on their life contracts. We are very excited for this process to happen. We are very excited.
Thank you. And so for the people who are left, what would that look like, all of this movement and people leaving?
It will seem like great disasters. It will seem like many deaths. It will seem like turmoil. Many of them will not realize the purpose of this shift. Many of them will feel alone. Many of them will feel confused. Many of them will feel loss. Many of them will be quite distressed. But this is only because they are coming from their perception. They are still in fear and they are still in worry. They are still caught in the matrix. And we hope that more of them will release and be able to move to New Earth.
Thank you. And will there be any hints or anything, any events that will happen prior that will be giving confirmation that this shift is about to take place?
There will be much destruction. The shift will be a great light. There will be much shift in humanity's consciousness prior to the shift itself. It will raise quite rapidly. In order for this process to happen, we need more of humanity to awaken and change their perceptions of what reality actually is. This is happening. And so we will all feel the raising of humanity's consciousness prior to the shift.
Thank you. But there won't be any sort of natural disasters that will have to occur beforehand?
We are waiting for... Yes, there will be many natural disasters. There will be many, and this will go along. the dam wall, the Three Gorges Dam, we are still waiting for this to occur.
Okay, thank you. In terms of the crimes against humanity that has been taking place, how will the general public hear about this? Will this be something that comes out before the shift, or if they're on the old earth after the shift? What senses do you get about that?
The crimes against humanity are coming out in the next few weeks, sorry. Many people know already about the crimes against humanity. There will be a period when confessions will be televised. This, in a way, this is already happening. In the social media, this is already happening, but it is not happening on all stations. And this is because we are still waiting for people to wake up so that they can accept the crimes against humanity have occurred. Many people are just such good humans, and this will be so hard for them to comprehend. So yes, to answer your question, many are already exposed, and there will be confessions.
Will that
we'll see.
Will that help the people who are a little bit unaware that there are crimes against humanity? I mean, is this going to help raise their vibration, or is this going to trigger them into shock and fear?
This will happen in a way that it will raise their vibration. We do not want to trigger people into shock and fear. This is not from where we operate, not from where we come from.
Yeah.
Not our intention.
Yeah.
So some people, of course, will choose to go into darker places. But in a way, this will be good for them, because it will allow them to then look deeply within themselves, because they have been hiding or looking away from the truth of what is. And then with our assistance, they will be able to come from that place and see the light.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So in terms of you, subconscious, how do you function without emotions?
This is just the way we are. We do have emotions. We hold the higher emotions.
Okay. Is this your ego bragging now, subconscious?
That is very funny.
Oh, and so you have humor. That's fantastic. Yes, well, we have experienced higher beings having humor, and I guess we still feel like, while we respect your wisdom and your help and your love that you provide for us, I guess you're still a little bit of a unknown to us. So even just asking those silly questions, we do want to have paint a picture of how higher beings actually are and do stuff.
Yes, and this is a fair question. It is hard for you to comprehend who we are and how we operate. Indeed, it is difficult for us to even sometimes be able to connect with you and try and explain this to you, because it is well beyond your comprehension, and we do not mean to be rude, which we do find a little funny. So please do not take it as an insult when we say that there are simply things that you cannot comprehend.
Absolutely. Respect that.
How the subconscious works. And we find humor in that, but it is not meant to offend.
Absolutely no offense taken at all. And it is just always a privilege to be able to connect with the subconscious. So, subconscious, have you had another lifetime where you experienced the lower dimensions in in 3D, or are you learning along with Meg as she has this lifetime in 3D?
We are learning along with all of you. This is why we enjoy connecting with you. We wish to teach you and share with you all of our knowledge so that you may understand and help you expand in your lives and learn your lessons and help you graduate through your lessons, if that is a way that you can see. But we learn so much from you through simply watching and feeling and listening to your questions and trying to help you. So it is very much a two-way street. And we are very grateful for the connection with you as much as you are with us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. So thank you so much, Subconscious. Subconscious, are you able to tell me about the weather? And is it true that it gets manipulated by man?
Yes, it is. You're talking about chemtrails. We know of this. Man does. There are aspects of humanity that harm the climate and do affect the weather. Is this what you are speaking of? What you're asking of?
Just storms and like hurricanes and as such. I mean, is this part of the manipulation? Can someone control a storm or create a storm?
Yes, they can. Storms can be created and controlled. We have played a part in this ourselves at times.
So
we are. We work with. We also. Mega's having trouble with this.
Is she?
Can you simplify the question?
Can I repeat the question?
Simplify.
Oh yes, simplify. Does someone have the control of creating and manipulating a storm?
Yes, we have played. We have changed the weather about. We do play that. We do control the weather at times.
Man, or as in you, higher beings?
We higher beings, we have manipulated the weather, and we will be manipulating the weather at times in order to help wake up humanity.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to elaborate? Do you have anything planned in the future?
If you think of climate change, we have a role to play in accelerating some of the aspects of climate change, as you call it.
Does this have anything to do with the magnetic north and south poles, or the magnetic poles?
The poles are shifting. Yes, this is true.
Will we notice when that happens?
The poles are shifting currently. You will not notice too much. The great pole shift will be occurring with the shift to New Earth around about that time. And this will cause much calamity. And the people who remain on old Earth will notice this.
Okay.
It's part of the destruction that will occur.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And in terms of, thank you for explaining that to us. Can you explain to us now another question of Meg's, which is explaining unity consciousness?
Unity consciousness is simply another term for, you could call it enlightenment, raising the vibration. This is a place, unity consciousness is a place that we are wanting humanity to get to raise their vibration, to understand who they are, where they truly come from, what is deep inside of them, where their power is, where their consciousness is. Unity consciousness is a term, it would be a great observation to understand. It would be great to understand that this is unity consciousness. We will be operating in the dimensions of 5D and above. It is where everyone is operating from their heart space, where everyone is operating from love, where everyone is operating for each other's highest good. And this is unity consciousness. There are many terms for this, and this is where we are wanting humanity to look inside to the places that they have not been shown. And by looking inside, they will come to learn who they truly are. And in this, when this occurs on a mass scale, this will bring about the term unity consciousness.
Beautiful, I can't wait. Is it possible to have this experience of unity consciousness on this planet that we have now?
Yes, it is. And it is happening on a greater scale here on Earth. It is happening. There are pockets of people, larger pockets of people. It is growing and growing, and we are very pleased with this. It is happening as people awaken and as more people look to use love, to operate from a place of love. And as more people see each other on this earth, operating from this place, they start to understand that they too can operate from this place. So yes, this can be experienced on this plane.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And another question Meg has about the New Earth is that, are there buildings already on New Earth, or is it just all nature?
There are buildings on New Earth. They are quite magnificent. We are showing Meg. They look very different from the buildings that you have on your current planet. They are of a more spacey look is how she would describe it. There is a lot of nature on New Earth. New Earth is mainly nature. It is so beautiful. You will all very much enjoy it.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. Asking Santa for it for this year.
We like this.
Thank you. So, in terms of those buildings, who's responsible for putting those buildings on there?
We have already put the buildings on New Earth. We want to make New Earth as welcoming as possible for her new inhabitants. And we have put the buildings there because we know that some people will not be able to live directly in nature. So the buildings are to house those people. Meg is seeing now buildings that are very tall. They're like trees in a way, she's seeing, but she would describe them as spaceships sitting atop of trees. And the scene that she is seeing is a very sort of pale pink blue, lovely, serene scene. We have placed these buildings here because in harmony with nature.
Yes.
We'll be living in them.
Thank you. In terms of Meg subconscious, she, as you know, she currently lives on a boat. Would she have the opportunity to live on a boat on New Earth?
Yes, absolutely. We wish to talk of manifestation at this point. You can create on New Earth that which you desire.
Yes, quite a few of my clients have started using these sessions to be able to manifest their worlds, their little homes and villages and communities on the New Earth. And it's very interesting each time they have a session, it's been built upon and expanded upon as they have done their manifestations here. It's like pre-ordering your New Earth.
Yes, and we are very happy with this. We are very happy to see this, people opening up to this. This is what New Earth, this is what old Earth was to be. However, this did not happen. But this is what New Earth will be. And the ability to create what you want is what it is all about in a more positive sense.
Yeah. What about the people who are really stressed about leaving their property and their belongings here to then be taken to go to New Earth? Can you manifest things that you like here over to be there?
They can in a way. It's not as if you will be taking the exact belongings with you. It will be slightly different, but you can manifest.
Some people I know, for example, they have very important books that are very special to them. Not necessarily the actual books, but the content of those books. I keep thinking that surely the information in the books would be within us once we evolve into these bigger mindset beings. Would that be the case?
You will have so much knowledge. It's as if you don't need the books. What you are saying is correct in a way. You have such limited knowledge on Earth, and you will not need the books. You have an eternal library within you if you just tap into it. You just simply need to ask the questions that you wish to learn, and the knowledge is already there. It's just that you have not yet learned how to tap into that on this earthly plane.
So I can tell people that when you get to the new earth, you will know all of the information about every Sweet Valley High book if you wish, which is horrific to think that. Not know that, but good to know also. But yes, thank you. That's see,
This rules in line with the manifestation, with bringing into your life that which you wish to receive on a positive scale, and this is what you will have the ability to do on the new earth.
Yeah, and so you'd be able to tap into anything that you chose to learn and know and have knowledge and wisdom of.
Yes, we are showing Meg. She's just had a vision of people being intuitive, other beings teaching us about our intuition and opening up to talking together, sharing knowledge together, being very comfortable with each other in each other's spaces and sharing knowledge together. It is as if you are opening up to a large encyclopedia, if you could think of it in that way.
Yeah.
The encyclopedia of knowledge. And in this way, you can bring forward, once you learn, you can bring forward and into your life what it is that you wish to create. It is very simple.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. And so for all those people that are wanting everyone to know the truth about all of the crimes against humanity, basically once people get onto the new earth, that's quite easy to be able to fully know all of the situation there. Is that correct?
It will be a knowledge. Yes, they will already hold this knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It will not be a focus.
Of course.
It will simply be a knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be a nicer balance rather than an obsession, which some people seem to be having right now. So thank you very much for that. In terms of
reason that we want to say that the reason that people are obsessing right now is because it is true. The crimes against humanity have happened, and it has had played out in such a way on this earthly plane. It has had an incredibly negative. It has played out incredibly negatively, incredibly powerfully in such a way on this planet that people's lives have been, and people have been unable to live out the life that they really could have experienced on this earth. And people are feeling this very intensely and very focused on it currently because it is true, and they would like to move on. There are some people who would like to move on from this place, and there are some people who would simply like other people to know the truth of what has been. And so this is why people are holding this strong focus right now.
Yeah, I absolutely understand. But sometimes, any obsession, regardless of whether it's health or kickboxing or smoothies, if it's too much, anything that's too much is too much. And so I think sometimes people can be unbalanced with these things. And, we must have some balance. I mean, I hate the fact that there are truly crimes against humanity that have happened. I mean, it's really challenging, but do I get stuck in a hole forever? Or do I have to come to terms with everything that has ever happened to anyone has been part of their life contract, and there is a bigger picture and purpose here?
Yes, and this is something that many people are yet to understand about life contracts and life purpose. Many people do understand the crimes against humanity and are stuck in this place because they simply do not understand that some people choose to have these experiences occur within their life. It's very hard for humans to understand that beings would come down to this plane in order to experience, to have experiences that we simply find quite horrific. And we are very emotionally attached to, well, you humans, sorry, are very emotionally attached to these experiences, but we beings, many other beings, simply truly would like to experience these things because we have not, many have not. And so it is hard for humanity to understand why on earth another being would choose to experience something so dreadful.
But then doesn't it kind of come down to judgment? I mean, everyone has their favorite holiday destination, and you experience all different things on different holiday destinations, and it's the same with different lifetime destinations and experiences. While it may not be your favorite one, on looking on the outside of things, there's validation to everything, and so we must see it in that neutrality of everyone's choosing the best purpose for them and their experiences for their whole complete life purpose, in its totality. But so would it be, could you say that really the true reasons why these crimes against humanity had to take place was to awaken people? And while each individual person doesn't necessarily have the proof of all of these crimes against humanity, we know intuitively that these have taken place, that we know we've been lied to, we know we have been controlled and manipulated, and this is just a part of growing our own natural intuition.
Yes, on the biggest perspective, yes, indeed. The crimes against humanity, from our perspective, are, well, of course, they are not acceptable, which is why many beings have been dealt with already and will be banished. From your perspective, what you are saying is correct. People have the opportunity to learn and to accept and to move into this place of neutrality, to understand that, to understand and release their life lessons. And yes, this has been a great, massive experience for many, that many are holding on to. And once they have, when the disclosures happen in a stronger sense, it will give people who are holding on to the crimes against humanity time the opportunity to release from the anger and the grief that they are currently holding. Their lessons would be to let go and to accept that not everyone will come to this understanding. Not everyone will awaken.
Yeah.
Their lessons are exactly that, to come to the place of neutrality.
And that the crimes,
to not care.
The crimes against humanity, the lessons, well, one of the lessons from the crimes against humanity is to be able to not be fighting for an eye for an eye, or justice or confessions, or bringing down whole industries. I mean, it's imploding on itself naturally, but if that's your focus, it kind of doesn't.
That is, we wish, we understand why people are dreadfully focused on this and very, very caught up in this. If they could look inside and release this, it would be of great benefit to them on their journey.
Look, it sort of would release them from their expectations of what the purpose of those crimes against humanity are. But it always comes from a beautiful place, that they always want the best, but they're getting stuck a little bit on the actual events versus the higher perspective of neutrality.
Exactly. And we really, it's a great point that you make. And for those who are really deeply caught up in the need for justice, for them to know that justice has already been served to many. Justice will be served to the ones who are waiting, and the ones who are waiting know this, and they know that they will be moving into a place where they can themselves release from the crimes that they did perform against humanity. So for people to really trust and for people to really understand that we have only their highest good, and there are lessons for them in this to release judgment themselves, and to release the need for punishment to occur for others. For truly we are all one. We are all one. And it is difficult for humans to understand that connectedness of we are all one. So when we say that, it is difficult for people to feel into the fact that they are actually connected with somebody who has committed a crime that is so heinous. So to accept that, for humans to accept that they are actually connected to that person in some way. So it is for them to release that and to learn to love that unconditionally, and to send that awful thing love and acceptance for the purpose that it had and the role that it played on earth, and to give it thanks. It's a very difficult thing for people to do, but it is one of the gifts of the awakening.
Yes, absolutely. It's so beautiful. Thank you. And everyone can relax knowing that the truth will always come out. It may not be on 3D, but it might be on 5D New Earth. But regardless of when, it will happen. And we need to not be distracted by doing our own inner work in the meantime.
Yes, this is absolutely correct. Many people are still caught up in the media and the way that things are playing out. Their advice for them in this scenario is to try and strike balance.
Thank you. Yes.
The way that many people in this scenario are actually using are actually not growing, and it'll be a shock for them also in a way. Even though they are awakened to the crimes of humanity, they have stopped growing because they are stuck in this place where they simply are caught up in the distraction itself. So for them to step away from the crimes, from the need of the crimes to be shown to humanity, to them just to step to a point where they can accept that they have the knowledge of these crimes have been perpetrated, and yes, that these crimes are being dealt with, and to accept that, and to then look within, to step away from the great distraction that they are still trapped in, and to look within and to strike balance and look at the work that they need to do, because if they are still holding on to this, they have greater things to release.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Thank you so much. And then Meg was also curious if there was going to be ever any royal families again.
No.
In terms of New Earth, is there going to be like leaders, rulers? How are we going to govern ourselves?
We are showing, Meg, a collective consciousness. We are showing, Meg, the greater minds of the collective consciousness, and this is where you will be operating from in 5D. It is the coming together of minds in a way for the highest purpose and the highest good of all who inhabit the new earth. There will be individual people. We are showing her individual people, such as at the moment she can see a person standing on the new earth. The collective consciousness is guiding the person on new earth. They will not be leaders as such, not in the way that we have been made to believe leaders should be on current earth, but they will be more benevolent. Leaders who simply can offer advice to how we can live in harmony with each other.
Beautiful. Thank you. Another Meg question. Why will there still be the old earth living under the guise of the cabal if the cabal have been eliminated?
The cabal have been sent off Earth. There are still minions, if you would call it. There are still, that life will still be played off in the remains of Earth as she dies. The people who choose to remain on old Earth will still be playing out the last of that matrix, shall we say.
Great. Okay. And another question she has is it possible that that the cabal could be voted back in 4 years' time?
On old Earth?
Yes, on old Earth.
We do not see this as a possibility.
Will they have another election, like they another presidential election in 4 years?
The way that old Earth will run will not have elections.
Will it even be existent in 4 years?
Will old Earth still be here in 4 years? We are showing Meg a black hole, a space,
yeah,
where Earth would have been.
Thank you very much. And I'm assuming then that means that we won't be voting on the new Earth either, correct? We don't have nothing like that. That's apart from voting in parties and things of fun.
Voting. There will be no voting on New Earth. There will simply be awareness and consciousness, and we bring back this picture that we have been showing Meg of greater minds. Greater minds collaborating and understanding and working together for higher purpose.
Thank you. Another Meg question is Nicole Kidman a being of the light?
Yes, she is.
And what is she doing at the moment?
Nicole has many lessons herself to learn. Nicole is in a great time of reflection. Nicole is looking at projects that she can do, that she can work on. And she is also in a time of reflection of many life lessons.
Isn't it true that everyone, including reptiles, are a being of the light, though?
This is true. Yes, we do not get caught up in reptilians being the only reptilians being of a bad place, because reptilians are also a beautiful species, beautiful beings. And just as in humanity we have people who are lost and in a dark place, so too the reptilians have people who have been lost and taken into the dark.
What do the good, shall we say, reptilians, what do they eat?
They eat meat, they eat plants, they eat meat, they eat it is difficult for me to say this, but they do eat humans. They have been known to eat humans, and this is simply a part of their fodder. They eat animals as well. This is not unusual, which is difficult to understand.
No, it's fine. I understand, just like some people find it shocking to eat pork or beef. To one person, it's totally fine for another. So, it shouldn't be judged upon. Really. Okay, so thank you so much for that. And sorry, so getting back to Nicole Kidman, my original question was, is she a being of the light? And yes, everyone really is a being of the light. But did she commit any crimes against humanity when she was Nicole Kidman?
Yes, she has committed crimes against humanity, and for this we would like to say is in, I guess your word would be purgatory. She is in a troubled place right now, and she is still trying to figure out where her road is. She's still understanding this and still making choices and still thinking of her lessons and learning her lessons.
Yeah. What kind of crimes against humanity did she act on?
She did make sacrifices. She made human sacrifices. She was part of the eating. She did eat and take part in sacrifices, and she did know that this was wrong at the time. In her greater perspective, she knew that she was doing the wrong thing. She was under the power of greater forces at the time. And this has been a great lesson for her.
And what about one of her husbands, Tom Cruise? Was he involved in any way?
Tom Cruise is a master at these things. He was very much involved, and he had a power over Nicole. She was very innocent at this time. Tom Cruise was Tom Cruise has been very deeply caught up, deeply entrenched in the cabal and all of their actions and crimes against humanity.
And what's he up to at the moment?
Tom has been eliminated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you get a sense of when that took place?
2018. Magazine 2018.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And what about Nicole? When did she leave this dimension?
2019.
Okay. Thank you. And then another question Meg has is, have the Hollywood cabal moved to Byron Bay, Australia? She's curious because Time Warner and Disney have been allowed to break international border protocols to film there. What do you have to say about that, Subconscious?
Yes. Time Warner and Disney are going through a process of change. We are guiding. Meg just needs to relax just a bit to let this information through. Time Warner and Disney are still actions of the cabal. They were allowed by the state premier into Queensland. They are filming currently in the Byron Bay area. We are watching them very closely as to their actions that they take in this area. This is a very highly spiritual area. We do not wish them the films that they are completing there are of good purpose. However, we are keeping a very close eye on the films that they are making there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is it called then?
I'm unaware of the films that they're making there.
There are films being made to change the way that Hollywood will be perceived. Hollywood has basically been shut down, and a new Hollywood will be formed. People are very much a new television will be allowed. However, the films will be of a good nature as opposed to what Hollywood has been producing in the past. This is a work in progress, and we are carefully monitoring its development.
Thank you. And in terms of being able to watch that movie, when will that even be able to come out if they're just filming it now?
This will come out in the new Earth.
Okay, so we'll have some movie theatres in the new Earth then?
Yes. This will come out in the new Earth. On the new Earth will be more uplifting.
Okay, well that's good. And what about James Cameron? I think he's been trying to do a second Avatar.
These sorts of movies will be allowed. These sorts of movies will be allowed on the old Earth. These sorts of movies will come out on the old Earth also. Hollywood has changed. It is not as we have known it. Hollywood is the wrong word. Hollywood has suffered a death, so to speak, but the films are a great way for people to connect on old Earth. Also, there will be movies. However, as we explained, the content will be much more uplifting and sensible than what has previously been put out.
And so will it be physical movie theatres, or will it be just as an idea concept that will just be put into our collective mindsets if we choose to think about or know about certain creative that way? How do we see a movie on the new Earth?
Oh yes, new movies on New Earth will be a collective viewing. It's more the mind. We are showing Meg again the collective mind. And this is how we'll be viewing our forms of entertainment. We are showing Meg projection of, we are showing her projecting, the ability to project creative projects, because people will still be able to be creative. In fact, this is where we want them to be. On many aspects, people will still be creating amazing projects on New Earth, and they will be able to share them collectively by projecting through the mind. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does. It does. It does. It does. Thank you. And so, getting back to James Cameron, what is his agenda for humanity?
James Cameron is a good person. James Cameron comes with a good heart, and he wishes to show a concept of connection with Earth and nature and the general collective of consciousness. this is where he is wanting to bring forward into his next project.
Thank you. And subconscious, do you get a sense that he knows about the shift in December?
He is not aware currently.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.